Relocating abroad is often sold as a dream, but anyone who's seriously tried it knows the truth can feel a lot heavier. Paperwork that never ends, requirements that change without warning, rising costs that quietly erase the promise of a better life, and advice that sounds good online but collapses the moment real decisions have to be made. That gap between expectation and reality is where stress lives, and it's exactly what this investigation is designed to expose. Welcome to Top 10 Countries You Can Relocate to Without Stress. An evidence-driven breakdown from Virtual Travel by Brian that strips away relocation myths and replaces them with real-world clarity. This isn't about fantasy destinations or influencer checklists. It's about what actually determines whether moving abroad feels manageable or turns into a financial and emotional grind. I analyzed visa requirements, cost of living abroad, and long-term expat living realities to uncover which countries for expats make international relocation smoother, and which ones quietly push newcomers into frustration. Whether you're comparing the best countries to move to, weighing cheap countries to live in, or searching for the easiest countries to relocate without stress, this countdown focuses on the details most people ignore until it's too late. Bureaucracy, daily expenses, cultural friction, and the small obstacles that decide whether living in another country feels freeing or exhausting. No politics, no relocation hype, just serious analysis with a little well-earned sarcasm. Stay with me through the countdown, because the final ranking challenges popular assumptions about the best places to live and reveals why some so-called expat havens fail under real scrutiny. If you value honest relocation insights, like the video, subscribe to Virtual Travel by Brian, and drop your relocation questions or experiences in the comments. They shape what I investigate next. Number 10. Belize. This is where the stress meter drops, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because the friction points that make relocation miserable are noticeably fewer. Belize doesn't sell itself as a hustle economy or a global powerhouse. It sells calm, simplicity, and familiarity, and for a certain type of mover, that combination matters more than hype. First, let's address the biggest psychological hurdle when moving abroad: language. Belize quietly eliminates it. English is the official language, used in government offices, legal documents, hospitals, banks, and everyday conversation. That alone removes weeks, sometimes years, of adjustment anxiety. No translation apps, no legal misunderstandings, no feeling lost in your own paperwork. For retirees and older expats especially, that's not a luxury, it's peace of mind. Now let's talk residency, because this is where Belize stops flirting and gets serious. The Qualified Retired Persons QRP program is one of the most straightforward retiree pathways in the region. The basic requirement is being 40 or older and showing $2,000 per month or $24,000 annually in income from outside the country. No need to compete in a local job market. No complex points system, no constant renewals that feel like probation. You live, you settle, you exhale. That clarity is why Belize keeps showing up in retirement conversations year after year. Cost of living is where expectations need a reality check. Belize is not dirt-cheap paradise, and anyone telling you otherwise is selling nostalgia. Tourist hotspots can drain your wallet quickly, but step away from the postcard zones, and daily costs become far more reasonable. According to Numbeo, everyday expenses like groceries, utilities, and local services remain manageable for retirees and fixed-income residents, especially compared to North America or Western Europe. The trick isn't chasing luxury beachfront living, it's choosing sustainability over fantasy. Culturally, Belize offers something rare: a Caribbean pace without constant cultural whiplash. People expect newcomers. They don't stare, they don't interrogate. They've seen expats come and go for decades. That familiarity creates a social ease many countries struggle to replicate. You're not expected to reinvent yourself, just show respect and adapt slowly. So why doesn't everyone choose Belize? Because it's not built for speed, ambition, or constant stimulation. Infrastructure can feel slow. Services move on island time. If your idea of happiness requires constant upgrades, Belize will test your patience. But if your goal is low stress, clear residency rules, English-speaking daily life, and a calmer chapter, Belize doesn't shout, it simply works. And sometimes, that's the most convincing argument of all. Number 9. United Arab Emirates. This is what relocation looks like when a country decides friction is bad for business. The United Arab Emirates, specifically Dubai, doesn't romanticize struggle, and it definitely doesn't expect newcomers to figure it out the hard way. The entire system is designed around speed, clarity, and convenience, which already separates it from most global relocation fantasies. Let's start with the paperwork, because that's where stress usually lives. Dubai's virtual work visa is refreshingly direct. Prove remote employment, show roughly $3,500 per month in income, carry valid health insurance, and you're in for a year. No guessing games. No, maybe next renewal. No multi-year probation disguised as opportunity. For digital professionals, entrepreneurs, and remote earners, that clarity matters more than cheap rent ever could. Now, about cost of living, because this is where internet debates get loud and misleading. Dubai isn't cheap. Anyone selling it as a budget destination is confusing aspiration with arithmetic. According to Numbeo, the UAE ranks in the mid to higher range on global cost indexes. But here's the difference. What you're paying for is efficiency, reliable infrastructure, modern healthcare, seamless transportation, government systems that actually function on deadlines. Time saved becomes the hidden currency. And for many expats, time is worth more than rent discounts. Culturally, Dubai flips the relocation anxiety script. In many neighborhoods, locals are the minority. That's not an exaggeration, it's the structure. The city is built around expats from every continent, which removes the constant feeling of being an outsider. English dominates business, services, and daily life. No one is shocked by your accent, your clothes, or your lifestyle. You don't have to earn acceptance, it's baked into the environment. That doesn't mean there aren't boundaries. The UAE runs on rules, not vibes. Public behavior standards are real, and ignorance isn't a defense. But here's the part many overlook. Those rules are clearly communicated and consistently enforced. Predictability reduces stress. Chaos doesn't. And Dubai chooses predictability every time. The real trade-off comes down to personality. Dubai rewards people who value structure, order, and momentum. If you thrive on spontaneity, loose systems, and cultural ambiguity, this place may feel rigid. But if your idea of a stress-free life includes fast internet, working infrastructure, personal safety, and a government that doesn't lose your paperwork, Dubai delivers exactly what it promises. This isn't paradise, it's precision. And for the right kind of mover, that precision feels like relief. Number 8. Georgia. This is what happens when a country quietly decides not to make relocation complicated. Georgia doesn't wrap itself in glossy relocation marketing or sell a fantasy lifestyle through influencers. It simply opens the door and then gets out of the way. For anyone exhausted by immigration hoops, that alone feels revolutionary. The headline feature is entry. Georgia allows many nationalities to stay visa-free for up to 1 full year. No pre-approval marathons. No embassy interviews that feel like interrogations. No income thresholds designed to weed people out. You arrive legally, you live legally, and you have time, actual time, to figure out whether the move makes sense. According to immigration consultants like GeoConsult, this policy is very real, widely used, and passport-dependent. The stress reduction here isn't theoretical, it's structural. Cost of living is where Georgia starts winning over skeptics. Compared with Western Europe, daily expenses are significantly lower. Numbeo data consistently shows that rent, dining, transportation, and basic services in Belize cost a fraction of what you'd pay in cities like Paris, London, or Berlin. That affordability creates breathing room. You're not forced to monetize every hour of your day just to stay afloat, which matters if you're remote, self-employed, or simply tired of living on edge. Culturally, Georgia surprises people. Tbilisi isn't some sleepy outpost. It has a large international scene made up of remote workers, creatives, entrepreneurs, and long-term expats who arrived for a few months and never left. English is widely spoken in cafes, co-working spaces, and service industries. You're not expected to master Georgian overnight to function, and nobody treats your presence like an inconvenience. That social ease goes a long way in reducing day-to-day friction. Of course, this isn't a polished, Western-style relocation machine. Bureaucracy exists, it's just limited. Infrastructure works, but not always at luxury-level expectations. This is not a place that caters to impatience or entitlement, but that's part of its charm. The systems are simple because they're not over-engineered. Georgia appeals to a specific mindset, people who value freedom over formality, time over prestige, and flexibility over appearances. If you want a place where relocation doesn't feel like asking permission to live your own life, Georgia offers something rare: space to settle in without pressure. Number 7. Thailand. Thailand's reputation didn't come from marketing departments. It came from people who arrived for a short stay and quietly stayed for years. The country has mastered something most relocation destinations still fumble: making everyday life feel easy, even when the paperwork behind the scenes is selective. Daily living is where Thailand earns its low-stress reputation. Cities like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Phuket run on a service culture that anticipates needs instead of reacting to problems. Healthcare is efficient and affordable by global standards. Transportation works. Food is reliable, accessible, and shockingly good at almost every price point. According to Numbeo, Thailand's cost of living remains generally affordable, though lifestyle choices matter. Street food budgets don't mix with luxury condo expectations. The flexibility is the point. You choose your comfort level, and the country adjusts around you. The visa side is where reality checks begin. Thailand is welcoming, but not casual about long-term stays. The long-term resident (LTR) visa is real, structured, and intentionally selective. It targets defined categories: certain professionals, retirees, investors, and high-earning remote workers, each with published requirements through the official LTR Visa Thailand portal. This isn't a wing-it-and-hope system. Qualify, and the process is clear. Don't qualify, and Thailand quietly nudges you toward short-term solutions. That clarity reduces stress for those who fit and frustrates those who don't. Cultural adaptability is where Thailand quietly excels. Large foreign populations mean newcomers aren't novelties. English is widely used in expat zones, service industries, and healthcare settings. You can function comfortably without fluent Thai, though learning the basics unlocks better prices, warmer interactions, and fewer raised eyebrows. Respect goes further than perfection here, and that social dynamic lowers the emotional cost of adapting. Thailand also understands something many countries ignore. Lifestyle matters more than bureaucracy once you're settled. Beaches, mountains, megacities, and slower northern towns all coexist within a few hours' travel. You're not trapped in one rhythm. You can recalibrate your life without uprooting it again. Still, this isn't a free-for-all paradise. Rules exist and they're enforced quietly but firmly. Immigration expectations don't bend for nostalgia or online anecdotes. Thailand rewards preparation, not improvisation. For those who qualify for the long-stay route, Thailand offers an unusually rare balance: affordability without chaos, convenience without coldness, and comfort without cultural exhaustion. It doesn't beg you to stay, but if you arrive prepared, it makes staying feel natural. Number 6. Malaysia. Malaysia doesn't beg for attention, and that's exactly why it works. While louder relocation hotspots fight for headlines, Malaysia quietly delivers something rare: modern living without constant friction. For people who want their international move to feel functional instead of theatrical, that difference matters. Daily life settles in quickly here. In cities like Kuala Lumpur and Penang, English is widely spoken across government offices, hospitals, banks, and everyday services. That alone eliminates a major stress point most expats underestimate until it's too late. Add reliable infrastructure, efficient public transport, strong private healthcare, and fast internet, and the basics stop being a daily battle. According to Numbeo, Malaysia consistently ranks as highly affordable for a country offering this level of urban comfort, especially when compared to Europe or North America. Now let's talk visas, because Malaysia actually put its homework on the table. The DE Rantau Nomad Pass, administered through the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, publishes clear income thresholds and eligibility criteria. Different lanes exist for tech and non-tech professionals, which quietly solves a problem many countries pretend doesn't exist. You know where you stand before you apply. No mystery standards. No influencer folklore. That transparency reduces anxiety before your bags are even packed. Culturally, Malaysia plays a long game. It's diverse by default. Malay, Chinese, Indian, and international communities coexist in ways that feel normal rather than performative. Newcomers aren't treated as curiosities, and assimilation doesn't require erasing yourself. You can eat well at almost any hour, practice your religion freely, and dress comfortably without triggering social alarms. That kind of everyday tolerance lowers stress in ways spreadsheets can't measure. Affordability is where Malaysia quietly wins loyalty. Housing, food, transportation, and services remain accessible, even with a middle-income budget. You don't have to downgrade your lifestyle to live responsibly. You just stop overpaying for it. And because cities are built for real residents, not just tourists, daily routines feel sustainable instead of temporary. Of course, Malaysia isn't chaos-free utopia. Bureaucracy exists. Weather is unapologetically tropical. Things can move slower than Western expectations. But systems generally work, rules are visible, and daily life doesn't feel adversarial. Malaysia appeals to people who value calm efficiency over constant stimulation. If you want an international relocation where stress doesn't sneak up through paperwork, language barriers, or inflated costs, Malaysia makes a compelling case. Quietly, confidently, and without asking you to pretend it's something it's not. We're halfway through the countdown. If you are enjoying the video so far, hit the like button, subscribe to Virtual Travel by Brian, and ring the notification bell for more informative content. Let's get back into it. Number 5. Panama. Panama doesn't try to impress you, it tries to work. And that distinction matters more than glossy marketing ever could. For decades, this country has quietly positioned itself as a bridge between worlds, and that mindset shows up everywhere in the relocation experience. Start with infrastructure, because stress usually begins when systems don't talk to each other. Panama has one of the strongest banking and logistics networks in the region, anchored by its global shipping role and long-standing relationship with international business. Money moves, internet works, flights connect easily. That reliability creates a sense of order many expats didn't realize they were missing until they arrived. Residency is where Panama earns its reputation. The friendly nation's visa, frequently referenced by immigration firms like Kramer and Kramer, has been a cornerstone for expats seeking legal stability. The specifics depend on nationality and qualifying ties, employment, business activity, or property. But the structure is clear. Panama isn't coy about who it wants. If you bring economic activity, the door opens. That predictability removes the constant fear of being one rule change away from uprooting your life. Cost of living tells a familiar but important story. According to Numbeo, Panama is often cheaper than the United States, particularly once you step outside premium neighborhoods and luxury high-rises. Groceries, services, and transportation remain accessible for middle-income residents. Yes, Panama City can get expensive, especially if you insist on skyline views and imported lifestyles, but that's a choice, not a requirement. The country offers range, and range equals control. Culturally, Panama might be one of the easiest Latin American transitions available. The capital feels unmistakably international. Foreigners aren't rare, and nobody expects you to master Spanish overnight to function. English is common in business and expat-heavy areas, and social norms are flexible enough to accommodate newcomers without friction. You're adapting, but not being tested. Panama isn't flawless. Bureaucracy exists, and patience is occasionally mandatory. Services may slow without apology, but there's an unspoken agreement here. Rules are rules, and once you understand them, they don't shift under your feet. Panama works best for people who value structure without stiffness. It offers legal pathways, financial reliability, and cultural familiarity without demanding total assimilation. If your definition of stress-free relocation includes knowing your money is safe, your status is stable, and your daily life won't feel like a negotiation, Panama checks more boxes than its louder competitors. Number 4. Costa Rica. Costa Rica built its reputation the slow way, by staying stable while everyone else experimented. It doesn't chase shock value and it doesn't sell urgency. Instead, it offers something many relocation destinations quietly lack: emotional calm. That's why so many people arrive just to try it and end up staying far longer than planned. The country's low-stress appeal starts with atmosphere. Costa Rica has positioned itself as a place where safety, nature, and daily life coexist without constant tension. The tourism economy did more than attract visitors. It trained the country to deal with foreigners at scale. From beach towns to inland valleys, expats aren't novelties. They're part of the rhythm. That familiarity reduces social friction in ways newcomers feel immediately. On the legal side, Costa Rica didn't overcomplicate things. The digital nomad visa, outlined by sources like Citizen Remote, sets expectations up front, roughly $3,000 per month in income, or $4,000 if you have dependents. Clear threshold. Clear purpose. You're allowed to live, work remotely, and breathe without playing immigration roulette every few months. That predictability is a major stress reducer, especially for remote workers tired of short-term fixes. Cost of living is where honesty matters. Costa Rica is not the cheapest country in Latin America. Anyone promising bargain basement pricing is either nostalgic or misleading. According to Numbeo, costs, especially housing in popular expat zones, run higher than regional averages. But here's the trade-off many expats consciously accept: safety, reliable healthcare, clean environments, and direct access to nature. You're paying for quality of life, not scarcity. Culturally, Costa Rica excels at making people feel welcome without demanding assimilation theater. Spanish helps, but it's not a survival requirement in expat-heavy regions like Tamarindo, Santa Teresa, or the Central Valley. English is common, systems are navigable, and the national attitude leans cooperative rather than confrontational. That tone matters when you're rebuilding daily routines from scratch. Costa Rica isn't built for people chasing constant stimulation or ultra-low costs. Things move slower. Bureaucracy can test patience. Weather is unapologetically humid. But for those seeking a relocation that prioritizes mental health over adrenaline, the country delivers consistency. Costa Rica offers a landing, not a leap. If your idea of success abroad includes fewer surprises, more balance, and a lifestyle that doesn't feel like survival training, this is one of the smoothest transitions available. Number 3, Mexico. Mexico doesn't ease you in quietly, it absorbs you. That's part of why relocation here feels less like a gamble and more like a recalibration. For North Americans especially, Mexico offers something rare for a country of its size: familiarity without sameness, comfort without stagnation, and options without pressure. The scale matters. Mexico isn't a one-city experiment, it's a full menu. Megacities, colonial towns, beach hubs, mountain retreats, all functioning under one national system. That variety lowers stress because relocation doesn't become a single all-or-nothing decision. If one place doesn't fit, you don't have to abandon the country, you just change cities. That flexibility keeps people grounded instead of trapped. From a legal standpoint, Mexico keeps things surprisingly pragmatic. The temporary resident visa is the most common path for people who aren't just visiting, but actually relocating. Requirements are typically based on economic solvency, though the exact numbers vary by consulate. A detail confirmed repeatedly through Consulados de Mexico. That variability frustrates some, but here's the upside. Consulates act as filters, not brick walls. If you qualify, the door opens. If you don't, you usually know quickly. The process isn't cute, but it's workable. Cost of living is where Mexico earns its reputation and then complicates it. According to Numbeo, expenses vary dramatically by location. Mexico City, coastal hotspots, and expat-heavy enclaves cost more, but even then, many expenses remain lower than comparable cities in the US or Canada. Step into smaller cities or inland regions, and affordability improves fast. You're not forced into one price bracket, you choose it. Culturally, Mexico excels at integration without obligation. Expats don't have to hunt for community. It's already there. Places like CDMX, Mérida, Puerto Vallarta, Playa del Carmen, and San Miguel de Allende have deep, established foreign populations alongside strong local identity. You can engage deeply or ease in gradually without social penalty. Add the food, festivals, and everyday warmth, and adjustment feels human instead of clinical. Mexico isn't friction-free. Bureaucracy exists. Infrastructure varies. Patience is sometimes part of the deal, but what offsets that is emotional accessibility. People talk to you. Neighbors notice you. Life doesn't feel sealed behind systems and rules. Mexico works because it doesn't demand perfection. It offers room to land, room to adapt, and room to change your mind. For many relocators, that breathing space is the difference between surviving abroad and actually living there. Number 2, Spain. Spain makes relocation feel less like an experiment and more like a lifestyle upgrade that actually runs on systems. That's the quiet advantage here. Things work, not perfectly but predictably, and predictability is the real currency of low-stress living. Daily life settles quickly because Spain already knows how to run a country at scale. Major cities function smoothly, public transportation is reliable, healthcare is both accessible and respected, and everyday bureaucracy, while still bureaucracy, follows rules instead of vibes. You're not constantly guessing how things are supposed to work. For many relocators, that alone feels like relief. The visa situation is where Spain stepped into the modern era. The telework, digital nomad visa, outlined through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, gives remote workers a legitimate, legal path to live and work from Spain. Income requirements are tied to the national minimum wage and updated periodically, which sounds dull, but dull is good. It means the system is anchored to policy, not influencer speculation. If you meet the numbers, you qualify. If you don't waste months pretending otherwise. Cost of living is where Spain rewards strategic thinking. According to Numbeo, Madrid and Barcelona command higher prices, especially for housing. That's not a secret, it's math. But Spain is bigger than its headlines. Cities like Valencia, Malaga, Alicante, and even parts of Madrid outside the core offer significantly better value while preserving quality of life. You're not forced into financial pain to access European infrastructure. You just have to resist postcard logic. Culturally, Spain is welcoming, but not performative. Expats thrive most where other expats already are, because systems adapt faster in those zones. English can carry you early, especially in international hubs, but Spanish quickly becomes a quality of life multiplier. Not because you'll be rejected without it, but because daily interactions become warmer, smoother, and cheaper. Spain rewards effort, not perfection. Spain also understands something many countries forget. Leisure is infrastructure. Long lunches aren't laziness, they're pacing. Public spaces are designed to be used, not admired. People live outside. That rhythm lowers stress organically. You're not constantly sprinting just to exist. Of course, Spain isn't frictionless. Paperwork can be slow, offices close when they close, deadlines are suggestions until they're suddenly not. But the rules are consistent, and consistency breeds patience. Spain works for people who want balance over bravado. It offers modern systems, legal clarity, cultural depth, and lifestyle flexibility without demanding that you suffer to earn it. If low-stress relocation means structure without suffocation, Spain delivers, quietly, confidently, and with a side of sunshine. Number 1. Portugal. Portugal didn't become a relocation favorite by accident. It earned it through consistency. While other countries constantly rebrand, Portugal focused on doing something far less flashy, making long-term living manageable for outsiders. The result is a system that doesn't feel like it's trying to trip you up at every step, and that alone explains why so many people quietly choose to stay. Start with residency, because stress usually lives there. Portugal offers multiple legal pathways instead of a single narrow gate. The D8 visa targets remote workers and digital professionals, earning roughly 4 times the national minimum wage, commonly cited around $3,480 per month, with documentation spelled out through official residence channels. For retirees and those with passive income, the D7 remains one of Europe's most accessible long-stay options, referenced frequently by relocation firms like Touchdown. Different lives, different paths, same destination. That flexibility reduces the all-or-nothing pressure that ruins so many relocation plans. Daily life supports the promise. Portugal's infrastructure works without drama. Public healthcare exists, private healthcare is affordable by Western European standards, and transportation connects cities without forcing car dependency. According to Numbeo, Portugal's cost of living consistently sits below many wealthier European peers. It's not bargain basement Europe, but it doesn't punish you for choosing stability over spectacle either. Cultural adaptability is where Portugal quietly wins. English is widely spoken in Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve, not as a courtesy, but as a norm. Foreigners are everywhere, remote workers, retirees, families, so newcomers aren't treated like curiosities. You can integrate gradually without feeling rushed or judged. The social temperature stays warm, but never intrusive. Portugal also understands pacing. Life here isn't built around burnout. Meals stretch, conversations wander, time feels usable again. That rhythm lowers stress in ways visas and spreadsheets never capture. You don't have to escape life to enjoy it, you just stop sprinting through it. Portugal isn't perfect. bureaucracy still exists. Housing pressure is real in popular areas. Things move slower than North American expectations. But the rules are visible, the systems are functional, and the culture doesn't treat newcomers as temporary guests. Portugal works because it doesn't demand reinvention. It offers legal clarity, cultural accessibility, and a lifestyle that feels livable long after the novelty wears off. For remote workers and retirees looking for Europe without the usual headaches, this is as close as it gets. If this countdown helped you rethink where and how you could live abroad, hit the like button, subscribe to Virtual Travel by Brian, and keep watching the channel for deeper investigations into relocation, cost of living, and global quality of life.